Tell you what.
Now we look at Donovan McNabb on the sidelines, and interestingly enough, Mike on 2 carries had 47 yards, 40 on the first carry and then 7 on the second. So, they only threw 1 time on that drive. Everything else came off the run. 5 plays, 71 yards as you look at McIntosh. And said yesterday as I was visiting with both he and with Rob Conrad, I said, he is so tiny standing next to you in the backfield. He said, you do not have any idea how strong that little guy is.
And
tremendous
he is
leg
fast.
strength.
4 touchdowns this year, leading rusher on this football team.
Amos Zaraway, back deep. And he's going to get a chance to return a short kick from the 11. Brown, I beg your pardon, Anthony Brown is going to take it 30 and now out to the 35-yard line.
Ron, now the pace is set. Mark Bolger has to match Donovan McNabb. They have to have another drive right here.
Well, they had a great-looking drive to open the game. Pitch it back to Zaraway, and he'll take it for a couple, and then he heads back the other direction. Zaraway, big opening, has 5, has 10, counted off at 11 yards. Jason Poles comes over to make the tackle as Zaraway breaks it big, and it's Simpkins who also tripped him up.
Ron, a good hard run by Amos Zaraway up inside. High tailback, he gets a good block up inside by his offensive lineman. Breaks into the secondary. Now the safeties didn't feel as fast on that play. Jason Poles waited for him in the secondary and made that tackle.
Zaraway now 5 carries for 22 yards. As Mike said in the open, he is a marked man after that great freshman year that he had. Fumbles the ball, recovered by Syracuse, Jason Poles. But the flag that is down is because Syracuse jumped offside.
Mark Bolger did a nice job with the cadence, and I think he drew off Syracuse.
Simpkins, I think, is the guy who jumped across.
Mark Bolger with his starting count, he draws 2 Syracuse players. Simpkins is one of them.
Simpkins is the one who did not get back.
Looked like they had a blitz on, and they were very active, and looked like they were going to come on Mark Bolger.
So it's going to be a first down and 5, 7-3 if you have just joined us. Mountaineers took the opening kickoff, drove right down the field, and then it stalled at the 2.5-yard line. And then Syracuse took the ball and just put it in the end zone. McNabb finishing it off with an option play for a touchdown. Bolger off in the flat. This is Zaraway. Nice move. Going to take it to the 41-yard line. And Stan Gibbs, he had him going one way, and then he turned him around and had him going the other.
Ron, on that play, Mark Bolger is trying to affect the 2 safeties, deep safeties, to try to get them off of Amos Zaraway. You're going to watch the routes here. Here's the 2 safeties. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to control them with a deep route back in here, but he doesn't have that, so he comes off to Amos Zaraway. Good safe throw. After the catch, picks up more yardage till Stan Gibbs makes the tackle.
4 of 6 for 77 yards for him as Zaraway still twisting and moving. Going to take it inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Bullock and Gibbs combining in the stop.
Well, we talked about Syracuse averaging 44 points a game. West Virginia averaged 32 points a game. So they're a very potent offensive football team with a lot of weapons, starting with Amos Zaraway. But Mark Bolger is the guy that makes it go because he's had the big year. He's 160 of 240, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Bolger's got a couple of younger sisters who understand her college basketball projects, or could be. Gets this one away, got him open inside the 15. It's Corey Ivy. And let's see, they're going to spot him down at the 10-yard line. 1st and goal, West Virginia.
Mark Bolger's reading everything right now. He finds Corey Ivy on a corner route against 2 deep coverage again. Safety sitting back on the hash, and he can't get over to where Ivy's making the catch. Will Allen finally makes the tackle, but again, the right throw from Mark Bolger.
Now they're going to spot him just outside the 10, Mike, so he can pick up the first down. As you see the numbers, 103 yards, 5 of 7. And the ball is at the 11-yard line. Zeraway cuts it back up inside, loses the football, and boy, is he fortunate it came right back up in his arms. Well, that's twice Amos has zigged when the ball zagged.
So far, the one was a penalty, and he gets the other fumble back. But a good penetration by Syracuse. They get away with a hold there, I think.
Solomon Page, yeah.
Solomon Page wrestled his player down.
That was a little embrace.
There's the foot of a Syracuse player. Knocked the football out on Amos Zeraway. Foreman again, and Saunders down here, Ron.
Second down and about 12. First man through, and it's Green. And Green is all the way down to the 6-yard line. So they crossed him up by running the fullback, which they don't do real often.
Well, anytime you have a tailback in the eye, and everybody expects the tailback's going to get the football, every now and then the fullback will get a quick little belly play, and it hits so fast that the linebackers do not see the fullback with the football.
Well, Green comes right back out. Corey Ivy comes back in, so they'll go with the 3 wide receiver set. 8th play of the drive coming up. Comes the blitz, gets his pass away, and Foreman was interfered with. But a call it on Phil Nash.
Looked like it was going to be a little hairpin on the outside where you down curl and then head to the sideline, and Phil Nash grabbed a hold of Sean Foreman, wouldn't let him go outside. Stating his case.
Pass interference, defense. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line, first and goal.
John Smith, the referee tonight, explaining it very well. Ball is at the 2-yard line.
Well, Sean Foreman, the outside receiver, he's trying to hairpin and go outside. But Phil Nash is going to hold on to him and not let him outside.
So first and goal, 2 yards away. Zeraway. Down to the 1. And there was a flag down on the far sideline. Move it down to the 1-yard line. Syracuse offside.
Well, you like offense? This is the kind of game it's going to be tonight.
Well, it's going to get a little colder tonight, so it's great. I mean, everybody can watch these two clubs go up and down the field.
Prior to the snap, half the distance will place the ball at the 1-yard line, first and goal.
Third penalty against the Orangemen. 3 for 10 yards, 1 against West Virginia for 5. Under 5 minutes to go in his opening quarter. Eric DeGrow comes out over the football. As you look into the eyes of Jason Poles. Now, he had an interception last year when West Virginia was driving to score. They turned the game around, but not this time. Anthony Green pushes it in the end zone, and the Mountaineers go on top. Page and Dunnigan with the paving blocks on the left side.
Yeah, it's a good offensive line, Ron. Eric DeGrow, the center, Pokinas, the right guard, Holland, the right tackle, and as you said, Dunnigan and Solomon Page on the left side just knocked the Syracuse lineman off the ball for Anthony Green.
Taylor with the extra point. He's got it. So let's take a break. 4:25 left. Opening quarter. And our new score, the Mountaineers of West Virginia 10 and Syracuse 7.
You watch the movement on the left side of the offensive line, and a nice job by the tight end, too, Becht. And Anthony Green just blew it in the end zone. Boy, nice job.
Well, that's 2 outstanding drives that West Virginia has had. And as we mentioned, the first one stalled, and they probably feel as though they should have had a touchdown on that one as well.
And Ron, Mark Bolger, and I keep saying it, he's doing such a good job of finding the open receiver, reading the safeties of Syracuse, going the opposite of where he needs to go, and he's just been on fire here in the first half.
Men, now you can turn back.
John Oligard to kick it off for the Mountaineers.
What West Virginia's trying to do on the kickoff, just punch it high and pin them into a certain side of the football field.
McIntosh from the 26 fumbled the ball. And then they're going to down him at the 35-yard line. David Carter, I believe, is the man who got downfield to make the tackle on special teams. You know, what has happened with West Virginia in this game in the early going has to be good for this football team, because they have been a little bit down since losing 2 in a row, and a little backbiting, a little finger pointing, Mike.
Well, when you lose 2 in a row, you start to search a little bit, and sometimes you start pointing fingers and instead of taking the blame on yourself. So this ball club had a lot of talking to do this week, but it looks like it's helped.
McNabb goes under center with a first down at the 35. Option play. McNabb going to be knocked down for a loss, and there's Gary Stills. Now, during this week, there have been a number of pro scouts who stayed over for this ball game, because both of these teams have a lot of kids that are going to play on Sunday. But they talk a lot about number 55, that as far as raw talent and ability, Mike, he may be as good a rush in as there is in college football this year.
And he got hurt against Ohio State, came back against Miami, was rusty, but last week against Virginia Tech, 2.5 sacks, 8 tackles, and caused a fumble. So he's back now. He's back where he feels comfortable from that injury.
And he's from Trenton. We said last year he's from Amityville. He said, I'm from Trenton. I said, Amityville sounds better. McNabb sets, drills it, incomplete. That's a good hit on Grominski. The ball was right there, and it was Stills who knocked him loose for the ball. I tell you what's just happened here, Chris. While we were watching your highlight from Mississippi State, Kentucky, Grominski's going to have to come out, because Stills, the young man we were just talking about, not only knocked the football loose from him, he knocks his wind out, and it really has gotten this crowd into the ball game.
And that's why pro scouts are watching him, because he's good at the line of scrimmage and he can run. He's got 4.5 40 speed. See him turn and run right here with the tight end and then make the hit.
And he loves the game of football. He loves to hit. Third down. McNabb from the shotgun, and they had movement. Looked like Bill O'Donnell, a junior out of Bayonne, New Jersey. The right guard came out of his stance too quickly. So the crowd helped.
Head ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
And Ron, what they were going to do on that play was a 3-man rush, and they were going to drop 5 in coverage in the underneath zones, and then a 3-deep secondary. So they were going to try to clog every hole that Donovan McNabb could try to find to throw the football. Let's see if they come back with the same defense here.
4th penalty against the Orangemen. Third down, the line to make is out at the 45-yard line. West Virginia leads it 10-7. Well, they fake the blitz, they come off of it. McNabb's going to run. Now he's going to throw, and he can't. Kevin Johnson has put his arms out. He got pushed out of bounds. Knowing he was not eligible, he just stopped his attempt to go for the football.
And Amos Saraway's over there pointing on the sideline to him that he went out of bounds. But a good job by Steve Dunlap, the defensive coordinator. 3-man rush and dropping the other 8 players trying to clog up the throwing lanes.
Anthony Brown is going back deep. They have been searching as Duncan sets the punt. West Virginia lost their big play return guy, and they're in search of somebody. They're hoping that this young speedster can be the fella. Standing back at the 30-yard line. Flag is down. It's a returnable kick. Well, we see Rye. Pretty good speed. He gets what he can. Goes out of bounds at the 46.
And he's smart. There was not any reason to continue.
35 yards in the punt and 11 on the return.
It's got to be a holding call.
Personal foul against West Virginia. Not only step off the yards, but give Syracuse a new set of downs.
Well, the umpire made the call in the middle of the field.
Don is saying refuse the penalty. It's not your decision, Donald.